Michae Jordan is selling his majority stake of Charlotte Hornets, which he bought in for $275 million in 2010, a reported $1.7 billion. This would mean a significant profit for Jordan, whose tenure as majority owner saw the team reach only the playoff berths 2 times and no second round of the postseason. The bankruptcy of team's local media partner, Diamond Sports Group, could put the future media rights of 42, listen to this, folks, MLB, NHL, and NBA's teams in jeopardy, representing an existential threat to the league's teams like the Hornets, whose games are aired on Bally Sports Southeast, rely heavy on the cable, and NBA attributed 13% of last season's earnings to local media deals. Jordan may be looking to downsize his ownership role due to struggles as an owner and instead to focus on other ventures such as his Nike brand or his new NASCAR team. A deal is not imminent, but if he decides to move on, he may not find a better opportunity. Tom?
Well, I think a buyer is also going to find an opportunity here. And what has happened, these local sports nets, Bally Sports, if you Google that, you see what happened to them. That is critical. I've been reading it's anywhere from 13 to 20%, depending on the team. So in other words, if you're the owner and you suddenly lose 13 to 20% of what's coming in, you're going to have to reach into your pocket next year and cover the difference because you've got existing player contracts. You've got existing leases on your stadium. So Jordan's in a good place because he bought at such a compelling price, and the franchise is worth 1.7. So even if someone came along and said, yeah, I'm only going to pay you 1.3, 1.4, or some number, he can still make a tremendous deal on it, and someone is still going to get a deal on the team, but that someone is still going to have to figure out the gap in these local sports. It's happening all over baseball, and it's happening here. This is just where the economics of the time in which we live, these regional sports nets, even with great advertising, you get more advertising for live programming because people don't fast forward through it, and they don't watch it on DVR later and then skip. So all of that's coming home here, but this could be a win for Michae Jordan, but also a win for someone that wants to get in as an NBA owner, because I don't think they're going to pay the price that's in Forbes, because what just happened with the Regional Sports Group, that's going to be a discount effect.
I'm going to take a different angle. You talk about a win for Michae Jordan. MJ needs a win at this point in his career because there's no question he is the GOAT, greatest of all time, NBA. You can... Whoever you want to put second, third, fourth, fifth, you want to put LeBron, you want to put Kobe, you want to put Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, throw them all on the list. It's all good. MJ's number 1. But on the list of all-time worst owners in NBA history, MJ's on GOAT Mountain. It's been so disappointing.
Worse than Donald Sterling?
Worse than Phoenix?
Listen, GOAT Mountain. Yes, Phoenix has been to the finals before. MJ, how many times has he even been to the playoffs?
Well, that's the
Once,
team in the finals.
Twice?
The Phoenix owner has proved to be a pig.
Tom, let people know about basketball. Talk about basketball here for a second. The reality is this. What we've realized with MJ is that as great as you are as a player, it doesn't mean anything as an owner or general manager. Listen, I'm a huge Miami Heat fan. I've been to 1 million games, season tickets. We've won multiple championships with the Heat, Dwayne Wade, Shaq, the whole squad, everything that we've done over here. When we see Charlotte Hornets, who's in our division, show up on the calendar, it's like, just throw a W right there because this team doesn't do shit. And you would assume that if MJ is the owner of your team, there's going to be some MJ magic. You're going to maybe make it to the playoffs. You're going to make a run. Nothing. The only thing they have to speak of is they have LaMelo Ball, who, again, broke his ankle this year.
Yeah.
So talk about breaking ankles in the NBA. It's just, I'm an MJ fan. I mean, I'm an Isaiah Thomas fan, to be honest with you. Pistons, bad boys. But I want to see MJ succeed as an owner. I want to see his team do well.
Adam,
unfortunately, they're just trash.
So why don't you, Adam, what would be the reason, and you think, behind somebody with that much knowledge for the game, that much power, that many relationships, that he can't turn a team like that around? Well, why do you think that?
Yeah,
I'm curious. I don't know.
I think it's a combination of factors. I think they haven't had a good coach in years. I think the general manager hasn't done much. I think their draft picks have turned out well, other than LaMelo. I think the best player they've had in the last 10 years has been Kemba Walker. He's out of the league at this point. Who they had a Mecca Okafor. They have not put together a good squad, and I wonder why.
I think it's an opportunity. I'm sorry, Pat.
No, go ahead.
I think it's an opportunity. That is why, if I was in Charlotte, first of all, North Carolina is like Indiana, North Carolina, and Kansas is like the two most natural basketball states of the nation. You have Duke, you have UNC, Chapel Hill, you have NC State, and the legend of Jimmy Valvano. You have Wake Forest. Tim Duncan went to Wake Forest, I believe.
Yeah.
So you have this in this basketball crazy state that's crying for an owner that cares enough to reverse everything that you just correctly pointed out. The checklist you just gave, I agree with. But I think there's an opportunity for someone to do it. And Charlotte, although is the second capital of the U.S. banking industry, as we know. It's known as the second capital. You would think there'd be some money there, but banking's got a little things going on.
Here's what I would say. Wise move, because NBA is a shitty product today. And take your $1.7 billion, go put it elsewhere. You're going to get better returns than leaving it in the NBA. Do I think the NBA franchise, is it going to double in the next decade? Yeah. Is it going to get 7.2% over the next decade? Maybe. Who knows? But maybe he's going to get 7.2%. The other part is, to choose to be an owner. It's a very different philosophy to be an owner than it is to be a GM, than it is to be a coach, than it is to be a superstar, than it is to be a bench warmer. The same mindset doesn't work when you're owning a team. When you're owning a team, it can't be about the owner. It has to be about the player. It's a very, very different dynamic when you're wanting to go that route. And eventually it needs to be more about somebody else. That hasn't happened here yet. But if you're buying a sports team today, I don't know if I'm buying an NBA team. It's a waste of time to go to see any father that's thinking about spending $1,000 to take his son to watch LeBron play, to watch Curry play, to watch anybody play, except for a couple players that won't miss a game. Anybody that's thinking about spending $1,000, there is a high likelihood that your favorite player may not play on that day. Why the hell would you take your kid with the $1,000 that you have to go watch the game, knowing the best player may not play in a season game? It's a shitty product today. There's better products than the NBA. To consider playoffs, different story, but season, I think NBA is not a good product today.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.